What if everything you were told about weather balloons and swamp gas was a lie? A decorated intelligence officer just testified to Congress, under oath, that the U.S. government has recovered non-human craft and bodies. So why isn't this the only story anyone is talking about? Folks, buckle up. For decades, UFO believer was a polite way of saying tinfoil enthusiast. Then something shifted. Governments started releasing classified files. Pentagon whistleblowers started talking. Congress started holding hearings, actual, real C-SPAN hearings about recovered alien craft. We are living through what insiders are calling the age of disclosure. And whether you think it's the most important moment in human history or the world's most elaborate distraction, one thing is undeniable. Something is going on. Tonight, we dig into the evidence, the skeptics, and the theories so wild they'd get a weather balloon fired. Let's go. All right, here's the official record, and it is actually staggering when you lay it all out. In 2017, the New York Times broke the story that the Pentagon had been secretly running the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AUDIP, a covert program studying UFOs funded with $22 million in black budget money. Then in 2021, the U.S. government dropped a bombshell. The Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a formal UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, report acknowledging 144 incidents that military pilots couldn't explain. 144. And the official conclusion, they could only explain one of them. 1. Then came 2023. 2023. A former senior intelligence officer named David Grush, a man who held top-secret clearances, worked with the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office (ARO), and is described by colleagues as highly credible, went before Congress and testified under oath that the United States government has been secretly retrieving non-human craft for decades. And not just craft, bodies. He claimed there are dead non-human pilots in government custody. The Pentagon's ARO office, meanwhile, held its own briefings, where its director, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, spoke for hours and denied the allegations, though critics noted he provided zero substantive evidence to the contrary. The U.S. Congress passed the UAP Disclosure Act, demanding the executive branch hand over any non-human intelligence materials. The suits in Washington are now legally required to talk. Whether they actually do, that's another story. Not everyone is popping champagne over the disclosure parade. Some very credible voices are slamming the brakes. Joshua Semeter, a Boston University professor of electrical and computer engineering who studies atmospheric phenomena, points out that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and so far, Grush has offered testimony, not tangible proof. His argument: the human brain is extraordinarily good at pattern recognition, and extraordinarily bad at knowing when to stop. Pilots, radar operators, even satellites can misidentify natural or man-made objects under unusual conditions. Skeptics also note that Grush himself admitted he has not personally seen the craft or bodies. He's reporting what others told him through classified channels. That's hearsay, even impressive, credentialed hearsay. There's also a geopolitical counterargument that's genuinely compelling. Some analysts suggest that a portion of UAP sightings are actually classified U.S. or adversary drone and hypersonic technology programs. The military would rather let people think it's aliens than admit a Russian or Chinese vehicle just flew undetected over a carrier strike group. The alien narrative in this reading is actually a convenient cover for embarrassing terrestrial intelligence failures. And then there's the media criticism angle. Several journalists have noted that the same handful of politically connected former officials keep driving the UFO disclosure narrative, raising questions about whether this is a genuine whistleblower moment or a well-orchestrated influence operation with unclear motives. Okay. We've done the paperwork, we've done the professors. Now we talk to someone who has been down the rabbit hole so long he's paying rent down there. Tinfoil, hit us.
I appreciate the introduction. Let's start with Roswell, 1947. The military initially told the press they had recovered a flying disc. Then, 24 hours later, they changed the story to a weather balloon.
Weather balloon, classic.
Here's what's interesting. Witnesses, ranchers, military nurses, local funeral directors independently described small non-human bodies with oversized heads. The funeral director received calls from the base asking about child-sized caskets. Why would a weather balloon need child-sized caskets?
Okay. The casket's angle is NEW for me. What else?
Majestic 12, MJ 12. Documents surfaced in the 1980 suggesting a secret committee of 12 scientists, military officials, intelligence directors was formed by President Truman in 1947 specifically to manage the recovery of non-human technology.
Get a load of this. A secret committee, run by 12 guys, just casually managing alien spacecraft in their spare time.
The FBI investigated the documents and called them bogus. But ask yourself, what's the established protocol for declaring inconvenient documents fake? You declare them fake. The timing of the leak, the names on the list, the classification codes, they match real programs of that era in ways a forger in the 1980 would struggle to replicate.
He's got a point about the codes. I hate that he has a point about the codes. Next.
Reverse engineering. Multiple defense contractors, Lockheed's Skunk Works, for example, have had senior engineers make deathbed or retirement statements claiming they worked on non-human technology. Bob Lazar said in 1989 that he worked at a facility called S4 near Area 51, reverse engineering craft propelled by Element 150.
Element 115. You cannot be serious.
Element 115, Moscovium, was confirmed and added to the periodic table in 2016. Lazar described its properties in 1989, 27 years before it was officially synthesized. Look at the timeline.
I need a moment. I need a moment.
Take your time.
Okay, I'm back. What's the Kennedy angle? Because I heard there's a Kennedy angle.
In days before his assassination, President Kennedy sent a memo to the CIA director requesting access to classified UFO files. He also reportedly reached out to NASA about joint space cooperation with the Soviets in ways that would have required disclosing what we knew. Some researchers believe he was killed, at least in part, to prevent that disclosure.
Oh, it gets better. The aliens didn't just visit, they allegedly got a president assassinated to stay secret. That is brazen.
Who benefits from Kennedy staying quiet about UFOs. The same contractors now managing the black budget programs Grush is describing. Follow the money. It's the same pipeline 7 decades later.
This man just connected Roswell to the Kennedy assassination to the 2023 congressional hearings in 4 sentences. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying that's impressive.
One more, the Men in Black. Not the movie, the reported phenomenon of unknown government-adjacent agents visiting UFO witnesses shortly after sightings and strongly discouraging them from talking. Dressed in black, driving black cars, sometimes displaying credentials that don't check out when verified.
Okay, so you're saying actual men in black exist, like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, but creepy.
The reports go back to the 1950, decades before the film. Researcher John Keel documented dozens of cases. The pattern is too consistent across too many unconnected witnesses to dismiss as coincidence. Someone is managing the information flow.
Managing the information flow. I'm going to need to go lie down after this. Here's where it gets genuinely fascinating, folks. The mainstream, the skeptics, and the conspiracy world actually agree on more than you'd think. Everyone, the Pentagon, the professors, and the tinfoil community, now agrees that the U.S. government has been concealing information about UAPs for decades. That part is no longer a conspiracy theory. It's an established, documented, congressional record fact. Where they diverge is the big question. What exactly is being hidden? The mainstream and skeptics lean toward misidentified technology, atmospheric phenomena, or classified human-made craft. The whistleblowers and researchers say the concealment is specifically about non-human intelligence and recovered materials. The Grush testimony is the critical fault line. Skeptics say it's credible hearsay at best. Believers say a man with his clearance levels and professional reputation doesn't risk a federal perjury charge in front of Congress on a hunch. The Bob Lazar Element 115 timeline is genuinely difficult to explain away. Defenders say he could have read classified physics papers. Believers say those papers didn't exist yet in accessible form in 1989. And the Roswell story remains, 77 years later, officially unresolved to the satisfaction of anyone actually paying attention. All right, here's the honest truth, and I mean honest, no drama. The government concealment of UAP information is no longer a theory. It is confirmed. Decades of classified programs, secret funding, and suppressed pilot reports are now a matter of public congressional record. David Grush's testimony is the most significant whistleblower event in this space in recorded history. But testimony alone, without physical evidence, cannot confirm the existence of recovered alien craft. He may be telling the absolute truth. He may be reporting a genuine elaborate disinformation campaign run within the intelligence community itself. Both are possible. The skeptical explanations, misidentification, classified technology, human error are legitimate and should not be dismissed. But they also don't fully account for the consistency of high-credibility witness reports across 80 years, multiple countries, and multiple governments. The most defensible position right now: we do not know what is being hidden. We only know something is being hidden. And in a functioning democracy, that should be unacceptable to everyone, believer and skeptic alike. The age of disclosure isn't a conclusion. It might just be the beginning of the longest and most important question the human race has ever asked. That's the UFO disclosure file, officially closed, unofficially wide open. Drop your theory in the comments, hit subscribe if you want the next classified briefing, and remember, the truth doesn't care.